Hello and welcome to Productivity Nerd, a podcast all about getting shit done, hopefully in an elegant way that doesn't leave you too broken. In our crazy worlds, we're all about balancing the need to work enough to make ends meet, enough not to annoy our bosses, but also enough that we feel like we've done enough, which can be a whole different psychological and emotional ballgame, along with the human need to rest and stay well. Plus, on top of that, we'd quite like to enjoy ourselves, maybe just a little bit along the way, spending quality time with those we love. I, for one, love hearing about how people get that balance and work more efficiently so they have more time to do the things that they love. Hi, Happy New Year! Welcome to 2026. I really hope you had a good break over the holidays and you're blessed with some shiny new stationery. Maybe a lovely clean set of goals as we head into the new year. So for today's mini-pod, I have actually been inspired by an email from Ali Abdaal. We did his book, you may remember, back in episode 30, Feel Good Productivity. It was a gem. And I, obviously, because I loved his book, I sign up for his regular newsletter. It is usually worth a read. The one I'm thinking of today talks about time and a thing he calls the fast forward test. Now, he claims to have read this in a book by MacAskill, but I'm not entirely convinced that's the source, having done a bit of digging. I actually can't find it. So he's pulled it out of somewhere. It's not his idea as far as he's concerned. And he was inspired by Stephen Bartlett, who was talking about this. So someone somewhere came up with this, but neither of those two, right? Anyway, right old hodgepodge of input for my thinking here, but bear with, it's worth it. So as we move into the new year, we are mostly having an idea of things we want to accomplish. Aims, goals, plans, habits, resolutions if you must. Resolutions? Yeah, that's the word. For some reason I was thinking of revolutions. But those two, why not, right? But I'm coming at it slightly differently this year. So think of time as a thing we can spend. Like chips in a casino. We get 24 a day, which is 168 a week. And let's say we probably sleep for 56 of those. Maybe we spend another 12 on, going for a wee, having a shower, eating, that kind of stuff. Which very conveniently for maths makes 100 shiny chips left. So 100 hours left in a week. And we can, to a certain extent, spend those chips on what we want. Now, different lives will have different levels of freedom, right? If you've got kids, you can wipe out probably a load of those before you even start. If you have a normal job, again, that's going to impact what you can do. If you have a boss, if you have clients, then your freedom isn't perhaps as absolute as maybe a retired person who can just, lunch at the pub all day. God, I wish I was one of those. Never mind. But think of our chips, our 1 hour chips, and how we use them. And how do we measure whether we're using them for the right things or things we really care about or things that just aren't that important, right? So here's the mind trick. The fast forward test is a little mental agility, if you like, where you check in with yourself throughout the day and ask yourself, would I choose to fast forward this experience if I could? Like the book on Audible that you have to get through, but you're doing it on 1.8 speed just to get it over with. I'm looking at you, Hilary Mantel. My God, book 3 was turgid. Anyway, nobody needs that much foreign policy in a novel, I promise you. But I had to read it for book club. 1.8, I had her going full pelt. If there are parts of your life where you go, gosh, I could just, 1.8 this and get through it so I can get onto my next hour, which is eating a cream bun, which is going to be a lot more fun, then that is something to watch. So as you do tasks, whether that's hanging out with your, work tasks, and, work task, there's going to be work tasks we dislike, work tasks we love, and probably a lot of stuff in the middle, right? But as you go through your day, think to yourself, would I fast forward this if I could, or am I enjoying the moment right now? Is this an hour I want to savor, or an hour that's just a means to an end and I'm not particularly loving it? Because the aim would be to have as few fast forward hours as possible in life. Being present, enjoying the moment, which, for some people, but I know a few, their happy day, their happy time might be wrangling a really gnarly spreadsheet. Or it might be, for me, it might be going for a walk with the dogs or reading. It's what gives you satisfaction, and that might still be hard work. It's not to say it's going to be all cream bun eating. I don't know why I've got this obsession with cream buns today. Might have to stop to the shop. And sometimes we don't really know what it is or why it is, but we get a burst of smugness from finishing a task. That isn't to say the task itself is enjoyable, right? Some gym visits, you feel really good, you enjoy it, the music's excellent. Other gym visits, you're like, this is killing me, but I will feel better when I've done it. That's just how things go. And because I'm currently writing this podcast, I'm thinking, would I fast forward this hour when I'm writing? Obviously, I'm recording it now, but when I was writing it, I was like, am I enjoying this? Would I fast forward this? No, I wouldn't actually fast forward it. I enjoy writing. I feel in the zone. I've managed to, hide all my Slack notifications, put my phones in the drawer. I'm now in the moment I'm writing, I'm enjoying it. And I am enjoying recording it as well, right? It's fine. So as you think about what 2026 brings for you, what part of your days or weeks do you want to fast forward? Is there a way to reduce those and add in more moments which you can savour, which you can enjoy, and that you don't want to fast forward? This reminds me of the podcast we did. I do believe it was our very first podcast, Claire and I, and we looked at Grace Beverley's Working Hard, Hardly Working. And in it, she talks about, having a job that is not all, flowers and roses, and how you can cherry pick and find ways to do the work to make it more enjoyable. And that is what we're talking about here. You obviously nobody ever, do they? Is there anybody who literally enjoys every second of their life? I suspect not. But are there ways of adding more enjoyment and losing some of the times that you would fast forward to get it over with? So hopefully the answer when you say, would I fast forward this hour, is a happy no. Let's add in some more of those. I'm going to try and do a bit of a log over the coming weeks to see what I'm doing with this. I'm doing a log for another podcast that we're in the process of writing. So I can do some thinking about this as well. Would I fast forward this hour? Or am I enjoying it and savouring it? Or in the case of perhaps deep work, it's not necessarily an enjoyment as such, but it's satisfying. It's enjoyment, but just in a different form. Anyway, I'll let you know how I get on. I really hope that you've had a great break over Christmas and you're raring to go for this new year. I know we've got some super podcasts lined up for the rest of the year. We've got some great authors, we've got some fab books, we've got some of the classics that apparently have just wafted off of my brain that we're going to line up and cover. But thank you so much for listening. I really look forward to spending more time with you in 2026. And we'll see you next time for our first proper Productivity Nerd podcast of the year. Bye for now.